Now we're joined by the associate editor of the Daily Mirror, Kevin Maguire, because it was very interesting what happened yesterday with Rishi Sunak. My goodness.
Absolutely. He decided to announce his working assumptions not to have an early general election. Prime Ministers normally don't get involved in speculation like that, but I think it was building. Will you go in May or not? And Labour and the Liberal Democrats and the SNP to some extent were all saying he's going to bottle it. So he's decided to say, no, it'll be at the back end of the year.
Let's have a look at his actual phrasing, because the words he used are really quite interesting.
My working assumption is we'll have a general election in the second half of this year. And in the meantime, I've got lots that I want to get on with. This Saturday, we'll be introducing a significant tax cut for millions of people in work, worth on average £450 for an average worker. Because we've halved inflation, we want to keep managing the economy well and cutting people's taxes. And I want to keep tackling illegal migration.
So it's weird to say my working assumption is, as if it's something that's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
It's actually his decision, right?
It is. He can decide to call an election whenever he wants. We used to have what's called a Fixed-Term Parliament Act brought in by the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition in 2010, which meant basically the Houses of Parliament had to vote for a general election. That's not the case now. He can go whenever he wants. And of course, why doesn't he want an election now? He'll get thumped. He'll lose badly. His working assumption is his prospects might improve later in the year if the economy picks up. He's seen to make more progress on boats. The reason Kier Starmer and Labour want an earlier general election is they think they'll win. It's all political calculation.
Well, let's hear Kier Starmer speaking in response, really, to Rishi Sunak yesterday.
If the Prime Minister is now hinting that it's going to be later in the year, then I think the question is, what's he hiding? Well, this is a serious issue for the country. If he can't name a date, then effectively he's just squatting in Downing Street, holding the country back with his dithering and delaying. So he needs to come clean. What's he hiding? But I can tell you this, we're ready.
Do you think he's squatting, Rishi Sunak, Chloe?
No, I think there's a big distinction between stalling and running scared. He's stalling because they're so behind in the polls that I do actually think that they would lose by quite a big majority. But I don't think he's running scared. It's in his right to wait as long as he wants to wait until he calls the election.
But you like Starmer, right? You think he's got a better chance?
I 100%.
Or you would rather he won?
I actually would, yeah.
Okay.
I would.
James, do you think he's squatting?
No, this is... Kier Starmer is the classic missing the open goal leader of the opposition. Every time he's given a really clear pass to just thump it in the back of the net, he makes a complete and utter mess of it.
And I thought it was crazy when he said, what's he hiding? It made me think,
But he's not hiding anything. He's actually a Prime Minister who's giving you more information than normally do. The rules are the rules. Everybody knows what the rules are. Labour have been pushing, and of course they're pushing. Of course they're ahead in the polls because they are the opposition. The Conservatives have made a terrible mess of it. Rishi Sunak and his team have made awful decisions, made terrible tax choices over what they could have done. They haven't governed the country well. We've got a doctor strike that still pervades. We've got a whole range of infrastructure issues. We've got floods all over the country.
We can't do a list of what's wrong with the country.
No, you can't.
We've only got about half of that.
But Kier Starmer, here's the difference. It's very easy to be in opposition and look as if you could be a better alternative until or unless the layers of the onion come off. And what I'm concerned about is if Kier Starmer is given an open goal like that and makes such a mess of it, and then is given options to talk about other things and has not provided a single policy that is any better than the terrible shambles we got at the moment, we are in a mess. It's choose between this lot who are incompetent or that lot who are a bunch of useless idiots looking in their rear-view mirrors. It's a disaster.
Well, let's go to Kevin. I mean, what if you were advising
Kevin, if you agree with me.
Yeah,
no, I don't actually. Not entirely.
I don't know what Starmer is supposed to say yesterday if he didn't say that.
No, of course, if you're an opposition leader and you say you don't want an early general election, people will say, oh, you're frightened. Now, all the reasons James has just started listing for what's wrong with the government and the country are why two-thirds of people want a general election before the summer. There was a poll Monday in the Mirror showing this, and that's why, in a way, you can't tackle those problems if you've got no confidence in the government after 4 general elections, 5.
But that's a nonsense statistic to use.
14 years, because the feeling amongst people is if they haven't solved the problem now, they're not going to do it, and then you become part of the problem.
James.
Sorry, there's a problem with your stat. What percentage of the vote did Tony Blair, when he got that absolute landslide victory in '97. What percentage of the vote did he get? Was it 40%-ish?
No, you're talking turnout.
So you're saying that 2/3 of the population want a general election now. It means that
before the summer.
Yeah, but 1/3 don't. That's basically the 1/3 is the lot who gets whoever in power.
Let's go to Robert in Cheshire. You think the Tories will win this when they go?
Yes, because I think the British public are pretty fickle. What it is, they have announced tax reductions, and also in April they're giving benefit rises to people. So I think they're going to wait for the economy to get better, like Kevin Maguire said, and basically people will feel better. And a lot of them can't get out their heads that when Labour left them with no money. So it's a case of the devil you know and the devil you don't.
All right, thank you. Sylvia in Durham, what about that? The memories of the financial crash in 2008-9 will stop Labour winning.
Oh, boo-hoo. I think that Rishi Sunak is running scared because we have no National Health Service. We have got elderly people dying of hypothermia. We have got children dying of starvation. They're getting rickets now. We have got people losing their homes. And when Rishi Sunak wants an appointment with a doctor, he phones up Harley Street and he gets one. If he needs his ingrown toenail removed, he goes to a private hospital. So I think Rishi Sunak should go to that beautiful indoor swimming pool he had built on his home with his constant temperature and jump in it and stay there.
Jump in the pool. OK, thank you. Nigel in Warwickshire, is Rishi Sunak running scared?
Well, you've got a dolphin without a brain against long life letters, really, haven't you?
Long life letters. Hang on, let's just think.
Without a brain.
Who's the dolphin without a brain? Is the dolphin without a brain Starmer?
Flip-flop Starmer, dolphin without a brain, and long life letters, who was planted there by the establishment.
You're going to vote reform, Nigel, I reckon.
Well, look, at the end of the day, Starmer wanted Corbyn as Prime Minister in 2019. They were trying to topple May and put in a government of national unity. And our great Starmer wanted Putin's friend Corbyn as Prime Minister.
Yeah, well, you weren't born yesterday. He was in the shadow cabinet and he's supposed to support the leader. So I guess that was... Oh, does that worry you there, Chloe, that he was supporting Corbyn at the time?
No, because he has since spoken up against him. And I personally feel, just to touch on something else that was said earlier with the speech yesterday, I agree that he didn't really say how he was going to fix the problems that we are experiencing right now. But I do actually think that it was a perfect speech to start off his campaign with, because it incited hope that there will be change in people. No. And I think for my friends and myself, that's what we really wanted to hear.
James, given a choice between Labour, where you're not sure what they're going to do, and the Conservatives, where you've seen what they've done, you can only vote for one, which do you vote for?
Well, I mean, I have to say, we all wring our hands, and I would probably hold my nose. And I would probably vote. I would probably vote for the incumbents, although it doesn't.
God, say their name.
Gosh.
Say the name
Conservatives.
Of the party.
but I have a real problem with this, because I want economic policies which are going to make the nation and us wealthier, and I don't see that coming from.
Well, then you want Liz Truss, right? You want the growth crash.
No, because I'm afraid she and her Chancellor was stupid beyond belief. That they clearly understood nothing about business and nothing about economics.
Bob on the
Bring
line.
back Margaret Thatcher. She knew what to do. She knew what to do. Ask Margaret.
Yeah, unemployment 3 million, great, wasn't it? Rising inequality, record levels, fantastic. Couple of wars, get them stuck in a norm.
Exactly, all of those things.
Bring back
reform. Why did we have massive unemployment? Because we reformed our economy, for which you and all of us have benefited for the last 30 years.